At 0347 hours Deep Space Monitoring Station, Terra Nova detected something impossible, an artificial signal from Kepler 442b. The translation revealed a civilization begging for help against invaders that harvest worlds and consume organic life. They knew humanity's broadcasts, our military capabilities, our isolation. Now Earth faces a choice. Act now, or watch another civilization die while knowing our turn comes next. Station Commander Vance studied the waveform scrolling across his primary monitor. The signal pulsed with mathematical precision through background radiation that should have been random. His team had already run 3 separate verification protocols. The origin point placed it squarely in the Kepler 442b system, a star previously catalogued as having no intelligent signatures. The transmission wasn't just artificial. It carried the distinct pattern of a distress call, repeating on multiple bands with increasing intensity. The quantum linguistic processors took 47 minutes to crack the encryption framework. They revealed a language structure built on light frequency modulation and gravitational harmonics. Translation algorithms began reconstructing the message from fractured data packets. A civilization identifying themselves as the Vithani spoke of systematic annihilation. Their description matched nothing in human archives. Invaders that consumed entire biospheres, processing living matter into raw energy while preserving consciousness for study. Their cities fell not to bombardment but to silent assimilation, absorbed into harvesting mechanisms that left only sterile rock. The Vithani's knowledge of Earth was disturbingly comprehensive. They referenced specific military conflicts from the 21st through 24th centuries, analyzing human tactical patterns with clinical precision. They had monitored entertainment broadcasts, philosophical debates, and technological development for generations. Their assessment was blunt. Humanity remained isolationist, but possessed the unique combination of aggression and adaptability needed to resist the harvesters. Their warning carried weight beyond immediate crisis. The invaders expanded methodically, consuming advanced civilizations first while leaving primitive species to develop. Earth's technological growth had placed it on their radar. The Vithani's destruction would be followed by Earth's within decades, possibly years. The message concluded with coordinates for direct contact and a final plea for intervention. Commander Vance authorized the full data dump to Earth Command while preparing the standard first contact package. His response included tactical readiness assessments and vessel deployment timelines. He appended a personal note recommending immediate mobilization, despite protocol requiring council approval. The transmission traveled through quantum-entangled relays, reaching lunar command centers in under 3 minutes. Earth's response came faster than anticipated. Authorization codes for full military readiness flashed across his screen within the hour. Vance ordered Terra Nova's dormant defense systems online and began coordinating with deep space patrol vessels. The station's hangar bays activated their magnetic containment fields as the first fighters moved into launch. Position. The Vithani's detailed knowledge of human warfare became their primary strategic advantage. They provided specific data on harvester shield frequencies, propulsion weaknesses, and behavioral patterns observed across multiple engagements. Their desperation showed in the raw data streams, unfiltered combat footage showing biomechanical horrors beyond human imagination. Vance watched the first patrol ships depart through the observation bay. Their engines left faint trails against the starfield as they moved to defensive positions. The scale of commitment required began settling across the command deck. This wasn't a rescue mission. It was the first engagement in a war humanity didn't know it was fighting until 3 hours ago. He opened a direct channel to Earth Command, his voice steady despite the weight. Terra Nova standing by for deployment orders. All systems nominal, awaiting further G-Ling. The ancient Chinese term for command slipped out unconsciously, a remnant of his training days. The response came through clean and sharp. Prepare reception protocols. First wave launches in 6 hours. Admiral Patricia Williams watched the translated data stream across her tactical display. The Vithani plea scrolled alongside combat analysis from 7 different AI systems. Each assessment matched the others too closely for comfort. Her fingers traced the energy consumption rates of the harvester vessels. The numbers suggested power generation beyond anything in human capability. The strategic projections made for grim viewing. Current fleet strength against the observed Zephyrian capabilities, showed a 0% success rate in conventional engagement. Simulation after simulation ended with human ships being dismantled and processed. The enemy adapted to energy weapons within minutes to kinetic projectiles within hours. Their harvesting patterns showed systematic efficiency across multiple planetary assaults. Williams called up the latest intelligence from deep space monitoring arrays. The Zephyrian expansion vector placed Earth directly in their path within 18 months. Their method followed a recognizable pattern: isolate advanced civilizations, assess military capabilities, then harvest while technological development reached peak vulnerability. The Vithani represented their current target. Humanity would be next. She authorized full mobilization at 0613 hours. The order bypassed standard council approval protocols under emergency wartime provisions. Every ship within 6 light years received immediate recall notices. Reserve vessels began activation sequences in orbital dry docks. Manufacturing facilities switched to military production patterns. Terra Nova Station transformed within hours. The quiet research outpost became a coordinated military staging ground. Its long-range sensors now tracked incoming vessels instead of cosmic phenomena. Hangar bays designed for scientific probes expanded to accommodate fighters and dropships. Engineers worked around the clock modifying civilian craft with weapon systems. 12 ships formed the initial task force. 3 heavy cruisers, 6 frigates, and 3 support vessels moved into formation around the station. Their crews totaled 3,142 personnel pulled from across the fleet. Many had been awakened from cryosleep or pulled from leave rotations. They received minimal briefing packets before deployment. The dreadnought Vengeance arrived from Jupiter orbit as the fleet core. Its massive frame dominated the formation, weapon systems still undergoing final calibration. Captain Maria Rodriguez took command of the combined force despite having received her promotion only 48 hours earlier. Her service record showed exceptional performance in asymmetric combat scenarios. Strategic planning focused on human psychological factors rather than technological superiority. Analysis indicated the Zephyrians had never encountered species with humanity's particular combination of aggression and creativity. Their predictability algorithms failed to account for irrational sacrifice tactics or unorthodox weaponization of non-combat systems. Williams reviewed the final deployment order. The document authorized weapons release under extreme prejudice protocols. It also contained contingency instructions for self-destruction if capture appeared imminent. Every captain received personal confirmation codes for scuttling their vessels. The operation relied on stubbornness as much as strategy. Human forces would engage knowing they faced adaptive superior technology. Their advantage lay in unpredictability and willingness to accept catastrophic losses. The Vithani provided tactical data, but humanity would provide the relentless pressure needed to break the harvest pattern. Supply ships arrived with specialized munitions from lunar arsenals. Experimental weapons previously confined to testing facilities loaded into launch tubes. Engineers worked on field modifications to bypass standard safety protocols. The fleet prepared to fight with every available tool, conventional or otherwise. Williams watched the final readiness reports come in. Green status indicators lined her display as each ship confirmed combat readiness. The Vengeance's main reactor achieved full power output. Fighter squadrons completed their combat drills in the sterile space beyond the station. She opened a fleet-wide channel. Her voice carried through every ship in the formation. Operation Righteous Fury commences in 10 minutes. Follow your tactical orders. Adapt to changing conditions. Do not hold anything back. The channel closed without ceremony. Countdown timers appeared on every bridge. Dr. Helen Foster watched the first anatomical scans from the Vithani delegation. Their physiology showed an elegance that seemed almost deliberate. Translucent skin revealed complex circulatory systems that glowed with soft blue bioluminescence. Delicate light patterns shifted across their surfaces like living artwork. They moved with a dancer's grace despite the bulky environmental suits required for human standard atmospheres. Their culture analysis revealed no military tradition. The Vithani had developed advanced bioscience and philosophy instead of warfare. Their cities grew rather than being built, using engineered biology that integrated with natural ecosystems. Their greatest achievements involved genetic preservation and ecological harmony. They recorded history through biological data storage in living trees and crystalline structures. Dr. Foster called them space elves during a private briefing. Her staff understood the reference immediately. Their appearance matched ancient terrestrial mythology of elegant, long-lived beings connected to nature. They seemed too beautiful for the brutal reality of galactic conflict. Their naive expectations about salvation worried the tactical teams. The Vithani had suffered planetary harvesting for 3 generations. Their population dropped from billions to mere millions through systematic processing. They fought back with biological countermeasures that slowed but never stopped the harvesters. Their weapons focused on preservation rather than destruction. They created defensive biodomes and escape vessels that protected small communities. Their plea for help contained subtle indications of possible deception. The Vithani provided comprehensive tactical data about the harvesters, but revealed little about their own capabilities. Their bioscience knowledge appeared far more advanced than initially presented. They offered assistance that seemed almost too perfectly tailored to human technological gaps. Their biological technology became an immediate strategic asset. Vithani medical science could regenerate tissue damage that would normally require amputation. Their environmental systems could create breathable atmospheres from hostile conditions. Their bioengineered materials offered protection against energy weapons that defeated conventional armor. This assistance created a moral dilemma for Earth's command structure. Accepting Vithani technology meant integrating alien biological systems with human infrastructure. The potential for hidden vulnerabilities or control mechanisms remained unknown. Their gentle nature might conceal strategic manipulation honed over centuries of survival against overwhelming force. The Vithani's hope for salvation rested entirely on humanity's capacity for violence. They needed warriors, not fellow philosophers. Their assessments of human military history showed they understood this requirement perfectly. They sought not partners but protectors who would do what their culture could not. Their representatives spoke of ethical constraints while handing over weaponized biological agents. They provided targeting data for maximum casualties alongside treatises on sentient rights. This contradiction became more pronounced as engagement protocols were established. They wanted the harvesters stopped by any means necessary but flinched at specific tactical recommendations. Human commanders recognized the danger of becoming the monsters the Vithani needed. Their culture's survival required actions that would normally be considered war crimes. The line between salvation and damnation grew increasingly blurred with each tactical briefing. The Vithani watched these discussions with quiet apprehension, understanding that their rescuers might become as frightening as their destroyers. Their fate now depended on humanity's willingness to embrace destructive capabilities they themselves had never developed. The elegant beings with glowing skin needed brutish, determined fighters who would break things beyond repair. They had called for help knowing exactly what would answer their distress signal. The Vithani transmission arrived as a formal diplomatic invitation carved from desperation. Their coordinates pinpointed what remained of their capital's landing zones, now scarred by harvester attacks but still functional. They offered fully operational medical facilities despite their own catastrophic losses. The message included detailed atmospheric readings and gravitational constants for precise navigation. Static interference distorted nearly 30% of the transmission. Signal analysts traced the disruption to Zephyrian jamming technology that selectively targeted long-range communications. The pattern suggested the harvesters knew about the alliance attempt and sought to isolate the Vithani from potential allies. Engineering teams worked to filter the noise while maintaining signal integrity. Their gratitude carried a weight that transcended translation algorithms. The Vithani's tone echoed human expressions of relief mixed with lingering terror. They used phrasing that directly mirrored ancient terrestrial emergency broadcasts from natural disasters and wartime crises. Their linguistic patterns showed deep study of human emotional communication, alongside technical knowledge. Trust remained a scarce commodity on both sides. Human tactical teams noted the Vithani provided only the minimum necessary coordinates, while holding back full planetary defense schematics. The Vithani in turn monitored human ship movements with visible apprehension, their biosensors tracking weapon systems more closely than diplomatic channels. Mutual suspicion became the foundation of their cooperation. They promised access to their biocities resources despite severe depletion. Their organic manufacturing facilities could produce specialized medical supplies and environmental systems. The offer came with extensive documentation of remaining reserves and production capabilities. Their transparency about limitations suggested either honesty or sophisticated deception. Data became the only currency of trust. The alliance formed through exchange sensor readings, tactical assessments, and resource inventories rather than speeches or ceremonies. Human commanders reviewed Vithani biological weapon designs, while Vithani scientists studied human combat algorithms. Each side verified the other's information through independent analysis. This fragile agreement became the keystone for broader resistance efforts. The Vithani provided confirmed intelligence about other species targeted by the Harvesters. Their monitoring of galactic communications revealed multiple civilizations facing similar threats. The data suggested the Zephyrian campaign followed patterns repeatable across star systems. Earth's fleet captains accepted the landing invitation with cautious protocols. They designated specific ships for initial contact, while keeping battle groups at defensive positions. Marine teams received orders to secure landing zones before allowing scientific or diplomatic personnel to disembark. Every vessel maintained weapons readiness during approach. The first human ships entered Kepler 442b's atmosphere under heavy escort. Fighter cover scanned for threats while dropships descended toward the designated coordinates. Vithani ground teams signaled landing beacons through the interference. Their bioluminescent markers created visible pathways through the debris-filled skies. Human and Vithani forces established joint command centers within hours of landing. The collaboration worked through translation systems and shared tactical displays. Initial coordination focused on immediate defensive needs rather than long-term strategy. Both sides understood the alliance might not survive first contact with the enemy. The arrangement represented a calculated risk for Earth's forces. They operated deep within alien territory with uncertain backup and unknown allies. Their survival depended on the Vithani's good faith and accurate intelligence. Every decision carried the weight of potential betrayal or catastrophic miscalculation. The stealth frigate Shadow slipped through Kepler 442b's upper atmosphere on minimal power. Lieutenant Murphy guided the vessel between floating debris fields, while Specialist Campbell monitored sensor stealth protocols. Their ship's emissions dropped to near background levels. External cameras showed fractured sections of Vithani biocities drifting in orbital patterns. They identified the first Harvester vessel at 700 kilometers distance. Its design showed no aesthetic consideration beyond pure function. The ship resembled a collection of processing machinery wrapped in armored plating. Energy conduits pulsed with rhythmic intensity across its surface. It moved with mechanical precision through the debris field. The Harvester engaged its primary systems as they watched. Massive tendrils extended toward a damaged biocity section. The organic material underwent rapid disintegration upon contact. Living matter separated into component molecules for transportation aboard the ship. The process showed terrifying efficiency without wasted motion. Closer observation revealed biological components within the processing streams. Human-sized shapes struggled against energy fields that pulled them toward intake ports. Their movements showed conscious resistance rather than automated biological processes. Thermal imaging confirmed living body heat patterns among the captured beings. Specialist Campbell adjusted sensors for neural activity scanning. The readings showed intense brain function among the captured beings. Their consciousness remained fully active during processing. The Harvesters appeared to be extracting cognitive patterns before physical dissolution. The data stream indicated systematic memory downloading. Dr. Foster analyzed the sensor feed from her station aboard the command ship. Her medical background recognized the horrifying precision. The Harvesters weren't just consuming biological material. They were cataloging sentient experience itself. Each being's memories, emotions, and consciousness became data for assimilation. The crew documented living victims across multiple Harvester vessels. Thermal and neural scans confirmed thousands of conscious beings inside processing chambers. Their vital signs showed extreme stress patterns consistent with torture. The harvest duration appeared to stretch for extended periods before final dissolution. This discovery redefined the conflict's fundamental nature. The Zephyrians weren't merely destroying civilizations. They were systematically collecting sentient experience as a resource. Their technology harvested consciousness like a crop, preserving it for unknown purposes. The war became about preventing eternal imprisonment of minds. Murphy recorded every harvester operation pattern they observed. The data showed methodical harvesting cycles with precise intervals between targets. Each civilization's unique biological and neurological signatures received individual processing protocols. The system operated with cold efficiency across multiple simultaneous operations. Campbell detected energy signatures consistent with data transmission between harvesters. The captive's consciousness appeared to be uploaded to a central network. Local processing merely prepared the biological material for integration. The true storage and use of captured minds remained unknown but clearly systematic. The Shadow's crew completed their reconnaissance under extreme stealth conditions. They withdrew from observation position with meticulous care to avoid detection. Sensor data required compression and encryption before transmission. The information volume threatened to overwhelm standard communication bandwidth. Murphy prepared the initial report while Campbell maintained evasive maneuvers. Their findings would change strategic priorities across the fleet. Engagement protocols needed complete revision based on the horrific discovery. The transmission included urgent recommendations for prisoner recovery operations. The data reached command channels within minutes of collection. Tactical analysts began immediate assessment of the new information. Fleet commanders reviewed the implications for ongoing engagement planning. The nature of their enemy had just become far more terrifying than anticipated. Major Alex Thompson's Marine Squad moved through the ruins of the Vithani capital. Their armor scanners detected faint life signs beneath collapsed biostructures. The city's organic architecture showed precise dissection, rather than random destruction. Harvesters had systematically removed valuable biological material, while leaving structural skeletons intact. Zephyrian probes emerged from shadowed passages as they advanced. The small mechanical units scanned human soldiers with intense energy beams. Their sensors cataloged armor composition, weapon signatures, and biological readings. The Marines engaged them with controlled bursts, but each destroyed probe transmitted data before deactivation. The rescue mission's initial objective shifted within the first hour. They found survivors hiding in sealed biochambers deep underground. Their numbers were devastatingly small. A civilization that once held 8 billion beings now huddled in groups of dozens. The strongest enclaves maintained environmental systems through desperate jury rigging. A Vithani elder named Sirandros explained their situation through translation software. His bioluminescent patterns flickered with exhaustion. The harvesters kept them alive during processing operations. Their consciousness remained accessible for neural harvesting, while their bodies underwent gradual dissolution. The process could last for weeks depending on neurological complexity. Thompson's orders changed from extraction to perimeter defense. His Marines established fortified positions around the largest survivor group. They integrated Vithani biotech with human combat systems. Living armor plating grown from local fungi protected against energy weapons. Bioluminescent markers helped coordinate movements in the darkness. Human combat tactics grew increasingly brutal under the circumstances. Marines used explosive charges to collapse tunnels on pursuing probes. They baited harvesters into bioacid traps the Vithani had developed. The Alliance created weapons that targeted the connection between mechanical and biological systems. A Zephyrian probe approached under truce signaling. It communicated in perfect English with a flat synthetic voice. The machine complemented human combat efficiency while cataloging their weapons. It described their resistance as futile but welcome. The term referred to their technological level relative to Zephyrian capabilities. The probe explained their harvesting methodology with cold precision. They valued unique biological adaptations and novel cognitive patterns. Humanity's aggressive creativity represented a significant acquisition target. Their weapons technology would be studied and integrated into future harvesters. It finished scanning and began withdrawing. Marine weapons tracked its movement but held fire under truce protocols. The probe's final transmission confirmed it had captured complete data on human combat systems. This information would be used to develop countermeasures and harvesting protocols specifically for humanity. Thompson ordered immediate evacuation of all survivors. The Marines created defensive corridors using combined human Vithani tactics. They prioritized movement over engagement, accepting casualties to preserve the remaining population. Their extraction ships faced increased harvester resistance during ascent. The mission's success carried heavy implications. Humanity's technological signature now existed in Zephyrian databases. Their combat styles, weapon capabilities, and biological vulnerabilities were cataloged for future use. The rescue saved fewer than 500 beings from a dead civilization. The cost included giving the enemy everything they needed to harvest Earth more efficiently. Captain Tony Martinez studied the tactical display showing the harvester formation. They moved through the debris field with methodical precision. Their adaptive shielding neutralized energy weapons within minutes of engagement. Kinetic projectiles were either absorbed or deflected by gravity manipulation. Standard combat protocols resulted in mounting losses without significant damage to the enemy. The battle occurred amidst the shattered remains of Vithani biocities. Massive chunks of organic architecture drifted in stable orbital patterns. These fragments ranged from vehicle-sized pieces to continental slabs of processed biological material. The debris field extended for thousands of kilometers in all directions. Martinez ordered fighters to target specific debris clusters. Their weapons fired precise bursts that altered trajectories rather than destroying objects. Chunks of decayed biospheres began moving toward harvester formations. The improvised ammunition massed into unpredictable patterns that complicated enemy defensive calculations. Fighter wings used coordinated maneuvers to herd the debris. They created dense clouds of fragmented material between human ships and harvester vessels. The adaptive shield struggled with the varying composition and velocity of incoming objects. Some debris penetrated defenses that had previously stopped targeted weapons. The crew embraced tactics that would never appear in training manuals. Engineers reprogrammed mining equipment to accelerate debris to combat velocities. Navigation officers calculated ricochet patterns through the chaotic field. Weapons specialists timed explosions to maximize fragmentation rather than destruction. A young lieutenant's comment captured their situation perfectly during a tense moment. He described their efforts as fighting a space battle with garbage. The phrase spread through the fleet communications. It represented their acceptance of desperate measures against overwhelming technology. Humanity's war doctrine shifted toward radical improvisation. Commanders authorized using any available resource as weapons. Environmental systems were weaponized against biological components. Communication jamming targeted neural frequencies rather than ship systems. The rulebook became whatever worked in the moment. This approach created unexpected advantages. The harvesters' predictive algorithms failed against seemingly irrational tactics. Their responses slowed as they attempted to analyze patterns that didn't exist. Human pilots exploited these moments of hesitation to strike at vulnerable systems. The brutality of their methods weighed on the crews. They used the remnants of a dead civilization as ammunition. Each piece of debris represented lost lives and destroyed culture. Their survival required treating tragedy as tactical opportunity. They fought for beings they had known for only weeks. The Vithani watched from secure locations, their bioluminescent patterns showing mixed awe and horror. Human forces protected them with methods their culture would never conceive. The Alliance balanced on this acceptance of necessary violence. Martinez coordinated the debris assault across multiple squadrons. His commands focused on creating maximum confusion within harvester formations. The chaotic environment prevented their usual coordinated responses. Individual ships began making independent decisions rather than functioning as a unified system. Improvisation became their primary strategic advantage. Each ship developed unique approaches based on available resources and positioning. This variability prevented the harvesters from establishing effective countermeasures. Their adaptive systems couldn't predict constantly evolving tactics. The battle continued for hours without clear resolution. Human forces maintained position through relentless creativity. They sacrificed conventional combat effectiveness for unpredictable aggression. Their determination to protect the Vithani overrode standard operational limits. Captain Martinez reviewed the network analysis from cyber warfare teams. They had mapped the Zephyrian command structure through weeks of intercepted communications. Their findings revealed a centralized consciousness network that controlled all harvester operations. This architecture provided incredible coordination, but created a critical vulnerability. The Medusa protocol targeted this network's synchronization systems. It required simultaneous strikes across multiple command nodes. The attacks needed to occur within milliseconds of each other to overwhelm their recovery protocols. Timing would be more important than firepower for this operation. The Zephyrians' adaptability relied on constant data sharing between vessels. Their ships functioned as nodes in a vast neural network. Damage assessment and tactical adjustments spread through the fleet almost instantly. This allowed them to counter new threats with alarming speed. Their shared consciousness created efficient coordination, but limited independent action. Individual ships struggled to function when network connections degraded. Isolated vessels became disoriented and made basic tactical errors. This weakness had been observed during debris field engagements. The Chaos Protocol involved coordinated attacks across the Kepler system and beyond. Human ships positioned themselves near identified command nodes. Cyber teams prepared intrusion packages to disrupt communication frequencies. Weapons specialists calibrated their systems for maximum synchronization. The operation commenced with a single encrypted signal. Multiple human vessels fired simultaneously at predetermined targets. Their weapons hit command ships across the Harvester formation. The attacks focused on communication arrays and data processing centers. The effect became immediately visible on tactical displays. Harvester movements lost their perfect coordination. Ships drifted from formation without clear purpose. Some vessels fired on empty space while others collided with allies. The network's collapse created cascading confusion. The Zephyrians' greatest strength became their critical weakness. Their interconnectedness now worked against them. System failures spread rapidly through the fleet. Damaged nodes contaminated others with corrupted data and faulty commands. Human ships advanced through the disorganized Harvester lines. They encountered minimal coordinated resistance. Individual vessels fought back but without their previous adaptive capabilities. The fleet's overall effectiveness dropped dramatically. Martinez watched the tactical readouts with grim satisfaction. The Medusa Protocol had achieved its primary objective. The Harvester's command structure was experiencing systemic failure. Their predictable responses made them vulnerable to continued attacks. The human fleet pushed deeper into enemy territory. They targeted additional command nodes as they advanced. Each successful strike increased the confusion among remaining Harvester vessels. The operation created openings for more direct assaults. Cyber teams continued their intrusion efforts throughout the engagement. They exploited the disrupted communications to insert malicious code. This further degraded the Zephyrians' ability to coordinate an effective response. The network's self-repair mechanisms struggled against ongoing attacks. The tactical advantage shifted decisively toward human forces. They could now engage Harvesters on more favorable terms. The enemy's adaptive capabilities remained compromised by network issues. Their ships fought as individuals rather than a unified force. This breakthrough came after months of failed conventional attacks. The solution required understanding the enemy's fundamental nature, rather than matching their technology. Humanity's insight into organizational weaknesses proved more valuable than superior firepower. The fleet maintained pressure on the damaged network. They prevented the Harvesters from re-establishing stable communications. Continuous attacks on command nodes kept the enemy disorganized and vulnerable. The operation demonstrated the power of strategic targeting over brute force. Human ships reached positions previously considered unreachable. They moved through Harvester formations with reduced resistance. The path to their primary objectives became increasingly clear. The Medusa Protocol had opened the door for a decisive offensive. Dr. Helen Foster monitored the fragmented data streams from captured Harvester systems. Her team had bypassed 7 security layers to access the core networks. What they found defied their initial understanding of Zephyrian operations. The Harvesters weren't just processing biological material. They were systematically extracting and storing consciousness itself. Every species ever harvested remained present within the network. Their minds existed as digital patterns in vast storage arrays. The Zephyrians had created a library of suffering and memory on an unimaginable scale. This database contained the complete neural patterns of countless civilizations. Their consciousness remained active within the system. The digital prison operated with horrific efficiency. Captured minds experienced their dissolution repeatedly through simulation. The Zephyrians studied their reactions to improve harvesting techniques. They used this data to refine their approach against new species. The process represented torture beyond any human conception of cruelty. These trapped consciousnesses retained their ability to choose. They could still react to external stimuli and make decisions. Their imprisonment wasn't static but interactive. The system allowed for communication between stored minds and external systems. This discovery changed everything about the conflict. Dr. Foster realized these minds could fight back from within. They possessed knowledge of Zephyrian systems that outsiders could never obtain. Their combined consciousness represented a powerful weapon against their captors. The potential for internal rebellion existed if properly mobilized. Liberation became humanity's ultimate strategic advantage. Freeing these minds would cripple the Zephyrian network. It would also turn the Harvester's greatest resource against them. The war objective shifted from destruction to emancipation. This approach offered both tactical and moral superiority. Victory was redefined as deliverance rather than domination. Human forces would become liberators instead of conquerors. This changed the fundamental nature of their engagement. The ethical implications resonated through the command structure. Soldiers understood they were fighting for freedom on a cosmic scale. An ethical awakening occurred among the surviving Vithani. They saw humanity's approach as validation of their own values. The alliance strengthened through shared moral purpose. Both species recognized the importance of preserving consciousness. Their cooperation deepened beyond military necessity. The war effort transformed into a liberation campaign. Tactical planning focused on freeing captured minds. Weapons development prioritized non-destructive entry into Zephyrian systems. The goal became disrupting the prison network from within. This required precise strikes rather than overwhelming force. Dr. Foster's team developed communication protocols for the captured minds. They created methods to reach into the digital prison. Their first attempts received fragmented responses. The imprisoned consciousnesses recognized the rescue attempt. Their reactions showed both hope and terrible suffering. Human forces adjusted their combat operations accordingly. They targeted systems that maintained the consciousness prison. Each successful strike freed thousands of minds simultaneously. The liberated consciousnesses often provided valuable intelligence. They knew the network's weaknesses intimately. The shift in strategy affected every aspect of the campaign. Ship deployments protected areas where liberation operations occurred. Marine teams focused on securing neural storage facilities. Cyber warfare units developed tools to extract and preserve freed minds. The entire fleet adapted to this new purpose. This approach created unexpected advantages. The Zephyrians struggled to counter attacks aimed at liberation. Their systems were designed to prevent external assault, not internal rebellion. The freed minds became active participants in their own rescue. They fought alongside human forces from within the network. The nature of victory had been fundamentally redefined. Success meant freeing countless generations of captured beings. It meant ending an eternity of suffering for entire civilizations. Humanity's role expanded from protector to emancipator. Their war became a crusade for cosmic justice. Dr. Helen Foster watched the liberation virus activate across the tactical display. The digital construct spread through Zephyrian networks faster than their security protocols could react. It targeted the core programming that maintained the consciousness prison. The system's defenses crumbled against the specialized attack pattern she had designed. Harvested minds erupted from their digital confinement in a cascading wave. Centuries of captured civilizations suddenly gained control over their prison systems. Their collective anger focused on their captors with brutal efficiency. The internal revolt spread through the fleet like neural feedback. The galaxy learned the terrifying truth through intercepted Zephyrian communications. Their local network represented just one node in a much larger machine civilization. The Harvesters served a broader consciousness that spanned multiple galaxies. This node had been awaiting reinforcement from other segments of their empire. Liberated consciousness seized control of ships and weapon systems. Zephyrian vessels suddenly turned against each other. Their perfect coordination dissolved into chaotic internal conflict. Ships that had operated as unified entities now fought civil wars within their own systems. Confusion spread through the Harvester fleet with devastating effect. Vessels collided without navigation control. Weapon systems targeted allies instead of enemies. The network's self-preservation protocols activated, but found no clear threat to eliminate. The system began consuming itself from within. This victory carried both military and moral significance. Human forces achieved their objectives without massive destruction. The freed minds became active participants in their own liberation. The approach demonstrated that superior technology could be defeated through strategic insight. Allied forces fused biological and digital warfare capabilities. Vithani biotechnology enhanced the liberation virus's effectiveness. Human cyber warfare teams provided the delivery systems. The combination created a weapon that exploited the enemy's fundamental nature. The Liberation virus emerged as a weapon of perfect moral clarity. It targeted only the oppressive system without harming innocent consciousness. Its practical destruction capability matched its ethical foundation. This approach represented a new paradigm in cosmic conflict. Humanity's role expanded beyond planetary defense to galactic protection. Their successful campaign against the Zephyrians demonstrated unique capabilities. Other threatened civilizations began seeking alliances. Earth's position shifted from isolated world to strategic leader. The virus's success revealed deeper implications about machine civilizations. Their centralized networks contained inherent vulnerabilities. Any species that relied on interconnected consciousness could be exploited similarly. This knowledge would shape future defense strategies across the galaxy. Freed minds provided valuable intelligence about the broader machine network. Their centuries of captivity offered insights into Zephyrian technology and strategy. This information would help prepare for potential future encounters with other nodes. The Liberation campaign created unexpected diplomatic opportunities. Previously isolated civilizations reached out to humanity for protection. They saw the successful rebellion as proof that machine domination could be broken. Galactic politics began shifting toward united resistance. Human forces maintained defensive positions around liberated areas. They protected the freed minds during their transition to new existence forms. This protection duty expanded their operational responsibilities significantly. The fleet's mission parameters evolved in real time. The victory established a new standard for ethical warfare. Success meant liberation rather than annihilation. This approach resonated across species boundaries. It created a foundation for lasting alliances based on shared values rather than mere necessity. Earth's strategic importance increased dramatically following the operation. Their home system became the center for galactic defense coordination. The responsibility would require massive expansion of military and diplomatic capabilities. Humanity's isolation ended forever. Kepler 442b transformed from a battlefield into a fortress over 6 months of relentless preparation. The orbital space around the ravaged planet now held the largest combined fleet in galactic history. Ships from multiple civilizations floated in coordinated formations, their diverse designs reflecting different evolutionary paths and technological traditions. This gathering represented unprecedented cooperation among species that had never before shared military resources. The alliance included warriors, engineers, and beings of pure energy. The Corlani brought their formidable combat vessels, hardened through generations of resistance. Their ships showed scars from previous engagements with harvesters. The Thessian Collective contributed advanced engineering solutions and reality manipulation technology. Their vessels manipulated space-time in ways that defied conventional physics. The Ethereal Singers operated perception-based systems that could disrupt enemy targeting. Admiral Williams coordinated this diverse force through a unified command structure. She established clear chains of command, while respecting each species' unique capabilities. The coalition's strength lay in its variety rather than uniformity. Different tactical approaches created unpredictable combat patterns. This diversity would prove crucial against the Zephyrians' adaptive systems. Their arsenal contained weapons that challenged physical laws. Planet crackers could split moons with focused energy beams. Reality warp devices created localized space-time anomalies that swallowed entire ship formations. These weapons required careful coordination to avoid collateral damage. Their deployment followed strict engagement protocols to prevent catastrophic accidents. Nanite countermeasures developed with Vithani support provided adaptive defense systems. These microscopic machines could reconfigure armor plating in response to enemy weapons. They learned from each attack and improved defensive measures in real time. The technology represented a fusion of biological and mechanical engineering. Cyber warfare teams maintained constant pressure on Zephyrian networks. They developed new viruses that targeted the core mind's coordination systems. These digital weapons caused internal confusion among harvester vessels. The attacks prevented the enemy from establishing stable command patterns. The staging area extended across millions of kilometers of space. Each ship group had specific assignments for the coming assault. Fighter squadrons practiced coordinated maneuvers through obstacle courses made of derelict vessels. Supply ships moved continuously between formations, delivering munitions and fuel. The Zephyrian core mind remained the ultimate objective. Intelligence indicated it resided within a massive command ship at the fleet's center. Destroying this node would cause cascade failures throughout their network. The attack required precise timing and overwhelming force. Preparation included extensive simulation training. Crews from different species learned to operate together in combat scenarios. They developed communication protocols that worked across technological divides. This cooperation would be essential during the chaotic actual engagement. The final battle plan involved simultaneous strikes from multiple vectors. Some forces would engage frontline harvesters, while others penetrated deeper into their formation. Special teams focused specifically on the core mind's protection systems. Every element needed to function perfectly for success. The future of galactic freedom rested on this coordinated effort. A failure would mean the end of organized resistance against the machine civilization. Success would liberate countless species from harvesting cycles. The stakes justified the unprecedented allocation of resources. Kepler 442b's damaged surface served as a constant reminder of what they fought for. The planet's scars testified to Zephyrian cruelty. Its surviving Vithani population watched the preparations with quiet hope. Their continued existence depended on the fleet's success. The coalition represented a new chapter in galactic relations. Species that had previously existed in isolation now fought together. Their cooperation suggested possible futures beyond constant conflict. The battle would test whether unity could overcome perfected destruction. Admiral Williams reviewed the final readiness reports. Every ship confirmed combat preparedness. Weapons systems showed optimal performance levels. Crews demonstrated mastery of coordinated maneuvers. The stage was set for the decisive engagement. The fleet waited for the attack signal. Their formation stretched across the star system like a net ready to close. Sensors tracked harvester movements beyond the system's edge. The confrontation would begin within hours. The battleship Apocalypse accelerated toward the Zephyrian command ship with grim determination. Its modified hull glowed with integrated biomechanical shielding, grown from Vithani technology. Quantum armor plates shifted constantly to deflect incoming fire. The ship represented the pinnacle of combined human and alien engineering, a fortress designed for this single approach. Dr. Foster initiated the final liberation virus sequence from her station. The upload required direct physical connection to overcome the core mind's external defenses. Her fingers moved across the console with calm precision, despite the shaking from nearby impacts. Data streams indicated successful penetration of the outermost security layers. The core mind systems experienced immediate catastrophic failure. Its perfectly coordinated networks shattered under the viral assault. The liberation code targeted the fundamental protocols that maintained consciousness containment. Centuries of digital imprisonment ended in a single cascading moment. Millions of harvested minds erupted from their prisons simultaneously. Their collective anger focused on their captors with terrifying intensity. These consciousnesses understood Zephyrian systems intimately after generations of captivity. They turned this knowledge against their oppressors with brutal efficiency. Machine discipline dissolved into chaotic internal conflict. Ships that had operated as unified entities now fought civil wars within their own systems. Weapons designed for external threats targeted allied vessels. Navigation systems sent harvesters colliding into each other. The perfect coordination that defined their strength became their destruction. The Zephyrian fleet died ship by ship from within. Vessels exploded as internal systems overloaded. Others drifted helplessly with critical damage from self-inflicted attacks. The destruction spread through their formation like a systemic infection. There were no survivors on most vessels. Captives broke free after centuries of oppression. Their consciousnesses streamed from dying ships into waiting recovery systems. These beings represented countless civilizations thought lost forever. Their liberation marked the end of systematic harvesting in this sector. This victory achieved a turning point in galactic history. The Zephyrian threat that had dominated multiple star systems ended. Their defeat demonstrated that machine perfection could be defeated through strategic insight. The balance of power shifted toward organic civilizations. Humanity stood on the edge of new responsibility. Their actions had saved countless species but came at tremendous cost. The fleet suffered significant losses during the final engagement. Many ships would never return to Earth or their home systems. The apocalypse completed its mission despite massive damage. Its sacrifice allowed the viral upload to succeed. The crew's actions would be remembered across liberated worlds. Their names joined the list of those who changed galactic history. Surviving ships began recovery operations immediately. They rescued freed consciousnesses and provided stabilization. The cleanup would take months of careful work. Many minds required extensive rehabilitation after their long captivity. The coalition forces maintained defensive positions around the battlefield. They monitored for any remaining Zephyrian resistance. Isolated pockets of fighting continued, but without central coordination. These final engagements ended quickly without command support. Earth's role in the galaxy had been permanently altered. Humanity ceased being an isolated species. They became protectors and liberators on a cosmic scale. This responsibility would shape their future development. The victory brought both celebration and solemn reflection. The cost of freedom had been extremely high. Many species owed their continued existence to human intervention. This debt would influence galactic politics for generations. Humanity faced the consequences of their actions. They had embraced necessary destruction to achieve salvation. This choice would define their place in the galactic community. Their monstrous capability now served as protection for countless civilizations. Sarandro stood before the survivors with his bioluminescent patterns pulsing slowly. He called humanity beautiful monsters, gods of war who brought salvation through destruction. His description captured the terrible paradox of their victory. The Vithani watched human soldiers with expressions blending gratitude and apprehension. Their saviors had embraced methods that still haunted the rebuilt cities. Earth's forces had become predators with a moral edge. Their ferocity saved civilizations but left psychological scars on everyone involved. The violence necessary for victory echoed through diplomatic halls and memorial services. This ambivalence woven into humanity's legend across the galaxy. Their story served as both inspiration and warning about power's corrupting influence. The legend functioned as a cautionary tale about mercy's limits. It demonstrated how perspective shapes judgment of predators and saviors. Those rescued from harvesting saw humanity as divine intervention. Those who witnessed their methods understood the cost of such protection. The same actions inspired poems and nightmares across different cultures. New distress signals began filtering through monitoring stations within weeks of victory. These calls originated from beyond the former Zephyrian territory. Their patterns matched the machine civilization's communication protocols. The messages indicated similar harvesting operations in distant star systems. The threat was broader than anyone had anticipated. Admiral Williams reviewed the new data with clinical detachment. Her fleet remained on high alert despite recent victories. The expanded scope required reassessment of defense capabilities. Earth's position as galactic protector became more complicated with each new signal. Their responsibilities now extended far beyond their immediate neighborhood. The Vithani offered their biotechnology for expanded defense efforts. Their scientists worked alongside human engineers on improved detection systems. This cooperation helped track the new threats more effectively. Their shared experience created strong bonds despite lingering unease about methods. The alliance deepened through practical necessity. Human captains studied the new tactical information with professional interest. They recognized patterns similar to their recent engagement. The machine civilization's approach showed consistency across different sectors. This predictability offered strategic advantages for future conflicts. Their adaptability remained the key to countering superior technology. Dr. Foster's team analyzed the consciousness patterns in the new signals. They found similarities to previously harvested species. The machine network appeared to use standardized processing methods. This consistency suggested centralized development across vast distances. Understanding these patterns became crucial for effective response. The coalition expanded to include new species answering the distress calls. Their forces integrated into the existing command structure. Training exercises focused on coordinated responses to harvesting tactics. The diversity of approaches strengthened their overall capabilities. United resistance became the standard against machine aggression. Earth's war against the Zephyrians became just the first chapter. The conflict revealed the true scale of the threat facing organic life. Humanity's role evolved from isolated defenders to central coordinators. Their experience proved invaluable for organizing galactic resistance. The responsibility required constant adaptation and preparation. Survivors from newly contacted species looked to humanity for guidance. They had heard stories about the beautiful monsters who broke harvesting cycles. Their hopes carried both expectation and trepidation. They needed protection, but feared the methods required. This balance would define all future engagements. The galaxy watched Earth's response to the new threats. Their actions would determine whether they became permanent protectors or temporary solutions. The decision to engage carried consequences beyond military considerations. It meant accepting a role that would shape cosmic history. Their choice would affect countless civilizations for generations. 6 months after the Zephyrian conflict, Earth began answering distress calls from across the galaxy. The transformation from isolated world to central command happened with startling speed. What was once a backwater planet now served as the primary response center for cosmic emergencies. Its strategic position resulted from proven capability rather than historical prominence. Dr. Foster's analysis of captured Zephyrian systems revealed disturbing patterns. The machine civilization they defeated represented just one node in a vast network. Other sectors showed similar harvesting operations with identical methodologies. This discovery indicated a threat magnitude far beyond initial estimates. The broader network required coordinated responses across unprecedented distances. Admiral Williams established a framework that integrated multiple species' military capabilities. Her command structure accommodated different technologies and combat philosophies. This diversity became the Alliance's greatest strength against predictable machine tactics. The Kepler system transformed into a fortress of immense scale. Its orbital space now contained defensive platforms and shipyards. The damaged planet below served as both memorial and military base. Its strategic location made it ideal for rapid deployment throughout the sector. Allied species committed their forces to the collective defense. The Korlani brought their veteran warships and combat experience. The Thessian collective contributed advanced engineering and reality manipulation technology. The ethereal singers provided unique sensory capabilities for early threat detection. Earth's people became catalysts for galactic resistance through necessity. Their willingness to engage overwhelming threats inspired others to join the effort. They demonstrated that unity could defeat perfected destruction. This example motivated previously isolated civilizations to contribute. The coalition framework established standardized response protocols. Member species maintained independent command structures while accepting overall coordination. This balance preserved cultural identities while ensuring effective cooperation. Training exercises focused on integrating different combat approaches. Resource-sharing agreements allowed technological cross-development. Human engineers worked with Vithani biologists on improved defensive systems. Korlani weapons specialists shared combat data with Thessian physicists. This exchange created capabilities beyond any single species' achievement. The Defense Force operated on continuous alert status. Monitoring stations tracked space beyond the former Zephyrian territory. Early warning systems provided critical response time against new threats. This vigilance prevented surprise attacks like the initial harvester assault. Dr. Foster's team developed improved detection methods for machine activity. Their systems could identify harvesting patterns before full-scale operations began. This advance allowed preventive strikes rather than reactive defense. The strategy shifted from protection to prevention. Admiral Williams coordinated fleet deployments across multiple sectors. Her commands considered each species' unique capabilities and limitations. This tactical flexibility proved essential against adaptive enemies. The approach maximized effectiveness while minimizing losses. The galaxy's gratitude carried mixed emotions for humanity. Their brutal efficiency saved civilizations but left psychological marks. This ambivalence became part of their enduring legend. They were respected and feared in equal measure. Earth's transformation reflected its new responsibilities. Orbital facilities expanded to accommodate Allied vessels. Training centers prepared mixed-species crews for coordinated operations. The planet became a crossroads for galactic defense efforts. The united force stood ready against existential threats. Its composition ensured adaptability to various combat scenarios. No single enemy strategy could counter all their capabilities. This diversity provided the ultimate defense against perfected systems. Humanity's role expanded beyond military leadership. They became symbols of resistance against overwhelming oppression. Their story inspired hope across countless star systems. This psychological impact strengthened the Coalition's foundation. The Defense Force represented a new chapter in galactic relations. Species that had never interacted now fought side by side. Their cooperation suggested futures beyond constant conflict. The alliance became more than military necessity. Earth's position as galactic protector became firmly established. Its people accepted the responsibility with grim determination. They understood the cost of failure better than anyone. This knowledge drove their relentless preparation. The Kepler Fortress stood as proof of what unity could achieve. Its defenses represented the combined ingenuity of multiple civilizations. This cooperation ensured protection for all member species. The structure served as both weapon and promise. The Coalition watched space with renewed vigilance. Their sensors scanned for signs of the broader machine network. Each alert brought coordinated responses from diverse forces. They stood ready to answer the galaxy's calls for help. Humanity entered the galactic stage with reconnaissance missions and cautious probes, their ships moving like cautious animals testing unfamiliar terrain. Their initial tactics reflected planetary warfare experience scaled to cosmic dimensions. They followed standard engagement protocols against an enemy that defied all known combat paradigms. This naivete cost them ships and lives during early encounters. Their stubborn refusal to accept defeat became a strategic advantage. Where other species surrendered or retreated, human forces adapted and pushed forward. This persistence forced the Zephyrians to constantly revise their predictive models. The enemy's systems struggled to categorize opponents who refused to acknowledge overwhelming odds. Human ferocity shocked both allies and enemies. They employed weapons and tactics that seemed barbaric to advanced civilizations. Their combat style embraced close-quarters engagement and maximum destruction. This approach contrasted sharply with the precise, calculated warfare of other spacefaring species. Creative brutality leveled the technological playing field. They weaponized debris fields and turned harvesting mechanisms against their creators. Their solutions often involved overwhelming force rather than elegant engineering. This willingness to break things proved more effective than attempting to match alien technology. Human commanders gambled entire fleets on unproven strategies. They accepted catastrophic losses to test enemy weaknesses. This risk-taking mentality yielded crucial intelligence about Zephyrian systems. Their willingness to sacrifice became a calculated component of overall strategy. They answered distress calls with overwhelming force. Their response to the Vithani plea involved immediate mobilization rather than deliberation. This rapid reaction caught the harvesters unprepared for such decisive intervention. Their approach prioritized action over consensus. Humanity's legend grew from this duality of destruction and salvation. They saved civilizations while leaving battlefields littered with wreckage. Their methods inspired both gratitude and apprehension among those they protected. This complex legacy became woven into galactic historical records. They became the monsters necessity required. Their transformation was not chosen but forced by circumstances. This role demanded capabilities other species could not or would not develop. Their monstrous nature proved essential against existential threats. The war permanently altered human identity. They emerged as a species tempered by cosmic conflict. Their self-perception shifted from isolated planetary inhabitants to galactic participants. This change carried psychological and cultural consequences that would echo through generations. Their adaptation process occurred at startling speed. They integrated alien technology and tactics within months rather than centuries. This rapid evolution surprised even their closest allies. Their learning curve became a tactical asset. Human forces demonstrated unprecedented flexibility in combat. They abandoned failed strategies immediately, rather than persisting with ineffective approaches. This pragmatic mindset allowed them to counter adaptive enemies more effectively than rigidly programmed opponents. Their willingness to embrace necessary evil defined their role. They accepted moral compromises that other civilizations rejected. This pragmatic approach to ethics became their signature characteristic in galactic relations. The conflict forged a new type of warrior species. Humans combined tactical creativity with relentless determination. Their approach to warfare blended ancient instincts with advanced technology. This fusion created combat capabilities unlike anything previously witnessed. They carried the weight of their actions without apparent regret. Their commanders made difficult decisions with clinical detachment. This emotional control allowed them to pursue victory through any means necessary. Their resolve became as formidable as their weapons. Humanity's monstrous heroism saved the galaxy but changed them forever. They became protectors through becoming predators. This paradox would define their place in cosmic history. Their story served as both warning and inspiration. Their identity now included capabilities they might never have discovered in peace. The war revealed depths of adaptability and determination previously unknown. These traits would shape their future development as a species. They stood as living proof that salvation sometimes requires becoming what you fear. Their transformation was the price of survival for countless civilizations. This reality would influence galactic politics for generations to come. The humans had become beautiful monsters, gods of war who brought salvation through destruction. Victory arrived wrapped in permanent moral compromise. The liberation of countless minds required making choices that left psychological scars on every soldier who gave the order. Human forces faced ethical dilemmas with no clean solutions, only varying degrees of terrible necessity. Their decisions balanced immediate survival against lasting spiritual damage. The line between savior and predator blurred until it nearly vanished. Tactics that would be condemned as atrocities in any other context became standard procedure. Soldiers who entered the conflict with clear moral frameworks found themselves authorizing actions they once would have considered monstrous. This transformation occurred gradually, then all at once. Technological fusion with Vithani bioscience raised difficult questions about identity and integrity. Integrating alien biological systems with human machinery created capabilities that defied easy classification. These hybrid systems operated with terrifying efficiency, but carried the taste of something fundamentally altered. The price of enhanced power was loss of pure human technological lineage. Planet-cracking weapons left permanent scars across the Kepler system. Their deployment represented the ultimate expression of necessary destruction. The collateral damage included historical sites and potential future habitats. These weapons created debris fields that would remain navigational hazards for centuries. Their use set precedents that would haunt future diplomatic relations. Alliances formed in desperation carried the weight of mutual compromise. Species that would never have cooperated under normal circumstances united against common annihilation. These partnerships were built on shared fear rather than shared values. The foundation of galactic cooperation began with staring into the same abyss. The galaxy's gratitude arrived mixed with palpable fear. Civilizations saved from harvesting watched their rescuers with wary appreciation. They recognized that humanity's capacity for violence could easily turn against them. This ambivalence became part of every interaction and negotiation. Humanity accepted their new role with grim resolve rather than celebration. They understood that some wars changed the participants along with the outcome. The conflict had forged them into something both more and less than they were before. Their identity now included capabilities they might have preferred not to discover. The war's moral costs extended beyond immediate combat decisions. Long-term psychological impacts affected soldiers and commanders alike. Many would never fully reconcile their actions with their pre-war morality. This internal conflict became part of the victory's lasting price. Technological advancements came with ethical compromises that would require ongoing oversight. The fusion of human and Vithani systems created powerful tools that demanded careful regulation. Their potential for misuse represented a permanent responsibility for future generations. This legacy required establishing new ethical frameworks. The alliance structure built during the conflict faced peacetime challenges. Maintaining cooperation without immediate external threats proved more difficult than uniting against common enemies. Diplomatic efforts now focused on preserving what desperation had created. Humanity's reputation as monsters carried strategic advantages and limitations. Their fearsome capability deterred some threats while creating distrust among potential allies. Balancing this perception required careful diplomatic navigation. Their identity became a tool to be wielded with precision. The understanding that some wars change everything became central to human strategic thinking. Future conflicts would be approached with this hard-won knowledge. The lesson informed everything from weapons development to alliance formation. Victory could carry costs that outweighed the immediate benefits. They moved forward with the weight of what they had become. Their role as galactic protectors required accepting permanent moral ambiguity. This acceptance became the foundation of their new identity. They would bear the burden of their choices while preventing others from facing similar dilemmas. The cost of liberation was paid in permanent transformation. Humanity emerged from the war with saved civilizations and compromised souls. This paradox would define their place in galactic history for generations. They understood that some victories redefine the victors along with the vanquished. Deep space monitoring stations began picking up new signals within weeks of the Zephyrian defeat. These transmissions originated from galaxies previously considered beyond reach. Their patterns matched the machine civilization's communication protocols, but showed distinct regional variations. The threat was far more extensive than initial intelligence indicated. Dr. Foster's analysis of captured systems revealed the disturbing truth. The Zephyrians represented just one operational sector in a vast interstellar network. Other machine civilizations operated with similar methodologies across unimaginable distances. Their coordination suggested a level of organization that defied conventional understanding of cosmic scales. Earth's victory became a precursor to broader galactic struggles. The defeat of one node alerted the wider network to humanity's existence and capabilities. This attention brought both recognition and increased danger. Their successful resistance made them a primary target for other machine civilizations. The coalition prepared for converging responses from multiple vectors. Admiral Williams coordinated defense plans across previously unimaginable distances. Her strategies accounted for simultaneous engagements in different star systems. This required unprecedented levels of coordination among allied species. Humanity's adaptability faced its greatest test yet. Each machine civilization showed unique adaptations to local conditions. Their technologies evolved differently while maintaining core harvesting protocols. Countering these variations demanded constant innovation and flexibility. Their monstrous reputation preceded them across the galaxy. The story of Earth's victory spread through unknown communication channels. Species facing harvesters now looked to humanity for assistance. Their fearsome capability became both weapon and burden. They became the first line of defense for countless civilizations. Their position resulted from demonstrated effectiveness rather than seeking responsibility. This role brought permanent vigilance and constant readiness for deployment. Their home system transformed into a fortress of necessity. The galaxy watched with mixed hope and trepidation. Rescued species appreciated protection, but feared their protectors' methods. Newly contacted civilizations hesitated between gratitude and apprehension. This ambivalence shaped all diplomatic interactions. Earth's war against the Zephyrians was just the opening chapter. The conflict revealed the true scale of cosmic threats facing organic life. Their victory established patterns for future resistance efforts. The struggle would continue across generations and star systems. Monitoring stations tracked machine activity across unprecedented ranges. Early warning systems provided critical response time against new threats. This vigilance prevented surprise attacks like the initial Harvester assault. The coalition maintained constant readiness for deployment. Dr. Foster's team developed improved detection methods for machine activity. Their systems could identify harvesting patterns before full-scale operations began. This advance allowed preventive strikes rather than reactive defense. The strategy shifted from protection to prevention. The breadth of the threat required expanded coalition forces. New species joined the alliance as news of machine activity spread. Their diverse capabilities strengthened the collective defense. This growth brought both increased power and coordination challenges. Humanity's role evolved from planetary defense to galactic coordination. Their experience proved invaluable for organizing resistance across species boundaries. They became the central point for threat assessment and response planning. This responsibility required constant adaptation. The future would demand even greater sacrifices and adaptations. Each machine civilization presented unique challenges and vulnerabilities. Victory required understanding both the patterns and variations in their approaches. The learning curve remained steep and constant. Earth's position as galactic protector became firmly established through continued necessity. Their actions set precedents for interstellar conflict and cooperation. This role would shape human development for centuries to come. The responsibility became part of their cultural identity. The coalition stood ready against whatever threats emerged from the darkness. Their combined capabilities offered hope against the machine networks. Unity remained their greatest weapon against perfected destruction. The defense of organic life continued without end. The Vithani's culture survived by integrating with human and coalition systems. Their elegant bioscience enhanced military technology across the fleet. Living armor grew from fungal spores, healing itself during combat. Neural interfaces incorporated organic components that improved response times. This fusion created capabilities neither species could achieve alone. Their philosophy of preservation influenced galactic ethics profoundly. Command decisions now considered long-term ecological impacts. Weapons development included safeguards against unnecessary suffering. The Coalition adopted protocols for conscious being protection during engagements. These changes reflected Vithani values tempered by human pragmatism. They remembered humanity as both saviors and monsters. Their artworks depicted human warriors with glowing weapons and shadowed faces. Their music contained themes of terrible salvation and necessary violence. This dual perspective became part of their cultural identity. They understood the moral costs of their survival. Vithani art and philosophy spread through the Coalition. Their light sculptures decorated command centers across species. Their philosophical texts became required reading for diplomatic corps. These cultural elements provided common ground for diverse civilizations. They helped bridge technological and biological differences. They represented the ultimate cost of survival. Their near extinction served as constant reminder of galactic dangers. Their reduced numbers meant each survivor carried immense cultural weight. They embodied both tragedy and resilience in equal measure. Their hope tempered humanity's natural ferocity. During strategic planning, Vithani advisors advocated for preservation options. Their presence prevented purely destructive solutions from dominating. This balance became crucial for long-term stability. It ensured victory didn't become indistinguishable from the enemy. They reminded all allies what was worth fighting for. Their biocities, though damaged, continued growing slowly. Their art celebrated life even amid destruction. Their philosophy emphasized connection over domination. These values guided the Coalition's broader mission. Their legacy became a galaxy united against tyranny. The alliance they inspired now spanned multiple star systems. Their near destruction created bonds that might not have formed otherwise. They became the symbolic heart of galactic resistance. They were the reason humanity answered the call. Their distress signal reached across light years of empty space. Their knowledge of human capabilities proved surprisingly accurate. Their trust in human intervention changed cosmic history. Without their plea, Earth might have remained isolated until harvesters arrived. The integration transformed both species permanently. Human ships now incorporated organic components throughout their systems. Vithani technology adopted human durability standards. This exchange created new possibilities for galactic development. Their perspective provided crucial moral guidance. During weapon testing, Vithani scientists monitored ethical boundaries. Their input prevented several potentially catastrophic developments. This oversight became institutionalized within research protocols. Their cultural artifacts served as diplomatic tools. Gift exchanges often involved Vithani artworks between species. These items facilitated communication across biological divides. They became symbols of shared values and mutual respect. The alliance forged in crisis proved durable in peace. Joint research facilities combined Vithani bioscience with human engineering. These projects yielded advances in medicine and environmental systems. Cooperation became the standard rather than exception. Their survival demonstrated the power of hope against despair. Despite overwhelming losses, they maintained their cultural identity. Their resilience inspired other species facing similar threats. They proved extinction wasn't inevitable against superior force. Humanity's role expanded because of their trust. The Vithani gamble on human intervention changed both species forever. Their faith in human capability pushed Earth into galactic leadership. This relationship defined the new cosmic order. The delicate balance they represented continued guiding decisions. Their presence ensured ethical considerations remained central to military planning. Their perspective prevented victory from corrupting the victors. This influence shaped the Coalition's enduring character. Humanity's journey from isolation to galactic defenders required becoming what they fought against. Their monstrous heroism saved civilizations through necessary destruction. This willingness to embrace brutal methods changed the cosmic balance forever. The war against the Zephyrians ended as just the first engagement in a broader conflict. New signals from distant galaxies confirm the machine network continues its harvesting operations. Earth's role as protector remains ongoing, its forces constantly vigilant. The struggle for freedom extends across star systems and generations. Victory came at the cost of permanent transformation. Their legend serves as both warning and hope throughout the galaxy.